Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been watching the folks in Port Charles for a long time, and I have to tell you, seeing Sonny Corinthos and Valentin Cassadine call a temporary truce is something I never thought I would witness. These two men usually mix like oil and water, always circling each other with suspicion and rivalry. But right now, they are setting aside their bitter, deep-rooted differences for a cause that touches both of their hearts. They have both come to the chilling realization that our beloved Anna Devane is in deep, deep trouble. It just warms my heart, yet breaks it all at the same time, to see these two fierce, protective men realize that Anna's supposed recovery is nothing more than a fragile mirage. Bless her heart, Anna is walking around trying to put on a brave face, trying to convince everyone in town that she is completely healed and ready to take on the world again. But I can see right through that porcelain facade of hers, and thankfully so can Sonny and Valentin. She is carrying a tremendously heavy burden, pretending that her time at the clinic in France miraculously cured all her inner demons. We all know from our own life experiences that true healing does not happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and a whole lot of grace, and Anna is simply trying to sweep her trauma under the rug. When Sonny went to visit Anna recently, the conversation took a turn that immediately set off alarm bells in my head. She started talking about wanting to buy a piece of land up on Emerson Mountain. Now, as we know, Sonny actually owns that particular stretch of land, and he knows a thing or two about the dangerous desire to escape from the world. Seeing a vibrant, brilliant woman like Anna want to run away and isolate herself in the middle of nowhere is a massive red flag. Isolation is a dangerous, slippery slope when your mind is already playing cruel tricks on you, and Sonny picked up on that right away. I was honestly so proud of Sonny in that moment. Instead of just nodding along, he looked her in the eye and gently told her that she desperately needs to go to therapy. He even promised to give her the name of a trusted professional who could help her sort through the lingering darkness of her captivity. But true to form, Anna never reached back out to get that name. She is as stubborn as a mule sometimes, thinking she can shoulder the weight of the entire world all by herself without any help. It is a common trait among fiercely independent women, but right now, it is her biggest vulnerability. Lord have mercy. The absolute terror began the very second Sonny walked out of her door. The shadows in the room seemed to stretch, and Anna began hallucinating Peter August. Just the mere thought of that wicked, manipulative man makes my blood run cold. His phantom presence is haunting her every waking moment, whispering pure poison into her ear. In her fractured mind, he is telling her that she does not need any professional therapist because she already has him to guide her. It is a terrifying, heartbreaking glimpse into just how fragile and broken her mental state truly is right now. The things that hallucination was telling her were just awful and completely unhinged. Peter's ghost was relentlessly pushing her to eliminate Britt Westbourne. His twisted logic was that all of Caesar Faison's children are cut from the same evil, rotten cloth, and that Britt is no different. My heart just ached when the hallucination brought up sweet Nathan West, twisting his beautiful memory to prove a sinister point. He told her she could prove his theory wrong by remembering who the real Nathan West was. Nathan was the golden exception, a truly good man, and using his memory to justify harming Britt is exactly the kind of psychological torture Peter would inflict. Now, let us talk about Valentin, because that man has a genuine sixth sense when it comes to Anna Devane. When he went to visit her, he immediately felt the cold chill of despair in the room. He knows her soul better than almost anyone else in Port Charles, and he could clearly see the tiny, terrifying cracks in her armor. His heart is still so deeply tethered to hers, and he understands better than anyone the deep-seated, paralyzing terror she endured when she was being psychologically manipulated by Ross Cullum. We absolutely cannot forget the living nightmare Anna went through during that dark chapter. Ross Cullum cruelly manipulated her mind, heavily drugged her, and practically brainwashed her into believing that the monster Caesar Faison was still alive and holding her captive. The psychological scars from that kind of relentless torture do not just wash away with a quick trip to a French clinic. They linger in the dark corners of the mind, they fester, and Valentin knows this terrible truth all too well. I could practically feel the heavy, suffocating remorse radiating off Valentin. He wishes to the heavens that he could have broken into Windermere sooner and rescued her from that dreadful room. The dark irony is certainly not lost on me that It might very well be the exact same room where Anna and Robert Scorpio once held Caesar Faison captive all those years ago. That was back about 5 or 6 years before Helena Cassadine passed away, and Valentin initially took over the Grand Castle well before he lost his inheritance to Nicholas Cassadine. The history of that stone fortress is just soaked in generations of secrets, lies, and unbearable pain. It is absolutely fascinating to watch how Sonny and Valentin are navigating this fragile truce while still being fierce, unrelenting rivals in the business world. Sonny wants Valentin as far away from Carly Spencer's life as humanly possible, and on top of that, they are both locking horns in a fierce competition over Jen Sidwell's valuable properties. Valentin has his sights firmly set on reclaiming Spoon Island and Windermere for himself. It is a classic, high-stakes power struggle, yet these two hardened men are hitting the pause button on their war for the sake of a woman they both deeply respect. Valentin is so incredibly worried about Anna's well-being that he took matters into his own capable hands. He actually used a burner phone and pretended to be Kevin Collins just to check up on Anna's confidential medical records at the clinic in France. That is when the devastating truth finally came to light. He discovered that she had practically faked her entire recovery just to escape the facility. It is a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching realization that she is running as fast as she can away from her healing instead of running toward it. In a move that truly surprised me, Sonny did something that goes entirely against his usual strict moral code. He had specifically promised Anna that he would keep her plans to buy the mountain land a tight secret, but he turned right around and spilled the beans to Valentin in strict confidence. I honestly believe Sonny did the absolute right thing here, even if it feels like a betrayal. Sometimes you have to break a promise to save a life, and keeping a dangerous secret is not an act of true friendship when someone is standing on the edge of a cliff. Both of these strong-willed men came to the exact same chilling conclusion. Anna's desperate desire to isolate herself up on Emerson Mountain is the most massive red flag they could possibly see. When you are battling fierce inner demons and seeing terrifying ghosts from your past, the absolute worst thing you can do is cut yourself off from the friends and family who love you. Total isolation breeds total despair, and neither Sonny nor Valentin is going to sit back and let her fall into that dark, endless abyss. This whole tragic situation just reminds me of how incredibly important it is to check on our strong friends. The women who always seem to have it all together, the ones who wear the bravest faces, are so often the ones fighting the hardest, most exhausting battles behind closed doors. I am just holding on to a deep, fervent hope that Sonny and Valentin can pull our dear Anna back from the brink before she loses herself completely to the terrifying shadows of her past. They are her safety net right now, and I pray they catch her before she falls.